Welcome to the third and final Knowledge Impact in Society Showcase. Today marks the official end of something wonderful, the Knowledge Impact in Society project funded by SHRC, and the beginning of equally wonderful initiatives involving you, our partners and researchers, and our students. What we hope to do today is to celebrate the accomplishments of this project by highlighting some of the key contributions made and informing you about what those contributions have been, introducing you to some of our faculty and students so that you can see for yourself some of the players who've made a difference in Eastern Ontario, and also give you a sense of what's to come, because what we're doing today is transitioning from the Knowledge Impact in Society project to, it's not what we call KIS 2, it's actually KIS 3, it's KIS squared, or cubed, pardon me. There are 3 projects that we'll be describing moving forward. The day is packed, and we're going to try to keep it online. If you have any questions throughout the day, please don't hesitate to speak to myself or Assistant Director Jeff Dixon at the front here, and we look forward to having a lovely set of interactions with you. It's your conference. I'd like to start the day by introducing someone who has been a great supporter of the Monieson Centre, a past director of the Monieson Centre, and a great personal friend and colleague, Associate Dean Dr. Brent Gallup. Brent.
Thank you, Yolande. It's a real pleasure for me to welcome you here today. We are the Queen's School of Business, and we believe that we are one of the best business schools in the world, and we think we have evidence to show that. And this project and the celebration of the accomplishments of this project is something that we are really very proud of. We are proud also of our faculty and of our students. We believe that our graduates hold leadership positions in many organizations across Canada and the world. But we're not just global, we are local. And we are tremendous supporters of Kingston and the Eastern Ontario region. We really believe that this region has produced and will continue to produce tremendous opportunities for graduates and for everyone in this particular area. And this is one of the reasons why this KIS project and why the School of Business supports and does so many things in order to make this happen. For example, one initiative that the center has helped with is the Pella CFDC, I always get this wrong, but the Pella CFDC Business Plan Competition. This was just held, and it provided $150,000 in interest-free business loans to each of 3 teams to start up businesses and companies in Prince Edward County and Lennox and Addington County. And this is a tremendous initiative, in my opinion. This shows how the government and local organizations and the school can work together to sponsor and support entrepreneurship in our area. One of the things that is probably not as well known is that our students, our faculty, our staff volunteer in a tremendous number of organizations in this region. We help small businesses, we help nonprofit organizations do the things that make our communities better. Now, on top of that, we have this tradition, as I was saying, that of supporting businesses in the area. And we do so because of the person whose name is attached to the Monieson Centre, Dr. David Danny Monieson. And Danny Monieson was a tremendous person. He was one of the best instructors we've ever had in the School of Business here at Queen's. His picture is on the wall just around the corner. What he did was he was the first School of Business professor to integrate community projects with the curriculum. And that's been very innovative over the years. He helped, we were celebrating the 85th birthday of his widow, Lois, just recently. And Lois was telling us, and we were sharing stories about the things that Danny did, such as helping local marinas with their marketing plans, helping local construction companies with their strategic planning. He was an innovator, a teacher and an innovator. And we're very proud to have his name to the Monieson Centre. But we're also proud of this KIS project. When I first heard of this, I thought, what the heck is KIS? And knowledge impact in society. And we really have become a knowledge-based society. We need to use our knowledge to bring products and bring services to our communities to support what we are and what we are as a society. And so the School of Business is very proud to be a co-sponsor of the KIS project. Okay? We think the KIS project produces academic research shaped by community partners to enhance the economic and social well-being of Eastern Ontario. And as Associate Dean of this business school, and as a past director of the Monieson Centre, it has been really exciting to see the impacts that this project has made over the past 3 years. It's only been 3 short years. And what is really nice to see is how that project is now spawning other projects. As Yolande says, KIS cubed. KIS cubed. So, on behalf of the Queen's School of Business, I would like to welcome you to Goods Hall. Okay, as you may have already noticed, we're undergoing quite a major expansion. But we're really excited about this expansion because this is going to create new programs and new opportunities for everyone. New opportunities to create businesses, to create other initiatives that we really think will help the Eastern Ontario region. So I hope you'll enjoy your day here at Queen's, and this is an invitation to come back whenever you like. So thank you very much.
As you will hear throughout the day, the importance of the community is very clear to us at the Monieson Centre and in the KIS project. We value our partnerships, local and global, and it is a great privilege to be able to have a key representative of our local Kingston community, Mayor Mark Gerritsen, provide opening comments to today's event. Mayor Gerritsen, as you know, is the 95th mayor of the city of Kingston, and it is very deeply symbolic because it is indeed a partnership that we would have an academic and our key community representative open the day. Mayor Mark Gerritsen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to see so many of you here, and particularly welcome all of you who are from outside of the Kingston area. You know, Yolande made an interesting comment about the interconnectedness of our community with our university, and in particular this program. We are very fortunate in the city of Kingston to work so closely with Queen's University. I think that we're blessed because our community is not, you know, millions of people like Toronto. We don't lose the importance of that relationship between our university and our community and our city, because we understand that we need to work so collectively and so well together. I think that what you're doing in this program is amazing. I want to congratulate all of you for participating in it. You know, in Kingston, we have this notion that we are bulletproof, so to speak, when a recession comes, because we have so many public sector jobs here. And it is the case that we do have about 60% of our workforce in Kingston is in the public sector. However, what a lot of people don't realize is that when after, when we go into a recession and the government spends more money and spends more money in the public sector, that might be good for Kingston, but we experience the echo effect afterwards, because it's always after, as we're starting to see now with the different levels of government and the way that they're talking about how they're going to start to pull back and restrain spending. So we almost get the echo effect of that recession. So economic development and economic prosperity is just as important to Kingston as any other community. And it is with that that I congratulate all of you for partaking in this. One other thing that I think is so important, and we were talking about this earlier, is that as we continue to grow in this global economic environment, and we continue to see global competitiveness occurring, it's so important that we start to act together regionally and come up together with plans regionally and approaches on how we're going to compete in the economic world that's now so global. So when we can collaborate regionally like this, I think it is so important because I think that all of our individual communities will benefit individually and collectively. So I'll leave you with one other thing. Another very important aspect of Kingston's local economy is in the number of restaurants that we have. We have more restaurants per capita in Kingston than any other city in Canada. So for those of you who are from out of town, I encourage you to spend some of your hard-earned money in our local economy before you leave to go home. But with that, on behalf of myself and City Council, I welcome everybody back to this last day of your project, and I hope to see and I hope to be at future projects as they develop in the future. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mayor Gertson. What we're going to do now is to look back before we look forward. So, and I hope you have my slides in your packages in case you can't see the image that's being projected. But I'd like to spend some time telling you a little bit about our accomplishments and talking about opportunities for you to partner more fully with the Centre moving forward. So, what was the KIS project designed to achieve? It was intended to move the results of academic research into your communities, to mobilize knowledge, basically, for common good. The particular goal was economic revitalization of the Eastern Ontario communities that we would visit and partner with. The project started in 2008. The focus was, as I mentioned, the region. Being responsible to our own local community, even as we maintained our global reputation for excellence, saying that it wasn't only important to have an international reputation here at Queen's School of Business and across the university, but saying that as responsible citizens, global citizens and local citizens, our research and our teaching needed to have practical relevance for those with whom we live. What did we try to achieve? Well, a lot, but not with very much. The budget was $300,000. So the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada provided that for everything that needed to be done over this 3-year period. The benefit of that was that communities and individuals and organizations participating in this project did not need to pay anything. So most of what you will hear about was completely free of charge. The constraint, though, was at $300,000 over a 3-year period, with a region involving over 15 communities that were visited, and projects to meet their needs is not a lot of money. Who were the key players? As you'll hear about more fully in the day, it started with our local CFDC. So just to the west of us is the Prince Edward and Lennox and Addington counties. And the CFDC director there, Craig Desjardins, an alumnus of the school, one day visited the centre and said, it would be very helpful if Queen's devoted even more of its attention to our counties. And that was the beginning of a conversation that resulted then in an application which involved a partnership that grew to include all of the CFDCs, the community development corporations in Eastern Ontario. And I know there are a number of CFDC representatives here, and if you are representing a CFDC, could you just raise your hand, please? Yeah, this is amazing. These are our partners. These are the individuals who made it possible for us to meet with their communities and to be of some usefulness to them. So with Pella CFDC and the Eastern Ontario CFDC Network, we launched this project in 2008. The partnerships grew, and we, as you'll see in the next couple of slides, expanded to over 30, in fact almost 40, regional, provincial, and federal partners. And the lifeblood of the project was clearly partnerships. So I hope you can see displayed here, but if not, on your slides, you will see a list of our partners. And you will see the variety from educational institutions all the way through municipal boards and through provincial organizations like UMAFRA, and all levels of partnership. You will see the breadth of the engagement. We had individual businesses, we had the Rural Secretariat, we had health, economic development, and other community representatives and organizations working with us. Now, if your name is on this list, if your organization is on this list, or if you have been partnering with the Centre, again, could we see a show of hands, please? Yes. So, again, this is all about our project. The project was designed to have several thrusts, several ways of making a difference to communities. The first of these was to simply ensure that faculty research was disseminated widely, that individuals knew what faculty were doing that was of relevance to communities, because often what we do is not well understood or even heard about. So ensuring that there was knowledge translation and mobilization. You'll be hearing about that in a moment. You'll also be hearing about a number of the other initiatives that involved many of you here, the workshops, the summaries or knowledge syntheses, the success stories that we were able to celebrate. You know, what was happening that was innovative and exciting in your communities, and how could we bring that to the attention of others in the region? The provision of student consulting services at no charge to individuals and organizations who were struggling. The providing of information about your human resource challenges in organizations and things that you could do better to strengthen the social fabric of your organizations and communities. And also to have these weekly, pardon me, I wish they were weekly, but these annual gatherings, and to disseminate findings widely through our website. In terms of faculty research, we were privileged to showcase 5 studies. These had been sponsored independently of the KIS project. They had been sponsored by Pella CFDC, and the faculty involved were willing to let their research findings be on the web. And I know that we've just lost Dr. Dixon because of a conflict, but her research is here, and I believe that we have Dr. Raver in the audience. Are you still here? Yes, so Dr. Raver is there. And you will see that we were able to disseminate findings about the recruitment and retention of medical doctors, how could you, in your remote and sometimes isolated communities, improve the ability to attract the very best medical talent? How could you actually create better records about your medical, the resources? Because often what's on paper as the inventory of your physician and healthcare providers is not actually accurate. What are some lessons that we could learn? What about growing the creative economy? You'll be hearing about that again today. That has been of growing importance to some rural communities. How could we do that? How could we improve, and this is Dr. Raver's project, the diversity and success of new ventures? And how can we build the networks and the connections so that together we achieve more? We started this process in 2008 with a discovery workshop, and for the next 2 years continued to meet in your communities. And these workshops involved identifying your knowledge needs and resources that we could provide to help meet those needs. It allowed us to share our experiences and, more importantly, to listen so that we could better understand how to partner with you. As you'll see on the slides here, the first was held in Hastings in September of 2008, and the last was held in the Thousand Islands region in October of last year. So spanning a 2-year period, listening to your concerns. There were 2 key questions that were asked at each workshop. First, what are your challenges? What is preventing your community from thriving? What are the barriers to growth and vitality? That was the first question. And then the second question is, how can academics help? Because a lot of the time, it's not that you don't have the knowledge that you need, it's that there are other impediments. But what are those particular, what's a subset of questions that we as academics can help to address? What were some of the key findings? Again, this should be in your slides. We learned that in priority, learning more about your skills or being able to get skills training in our rural communities is critical. Keeping our youth, keeping the labor and attracting the labor that we need. These are all important. Mayor Gertson just spoke about regional strategies and the importance of them. The difficulty and struggle to develop them, that was a big part of what we heard was a limitation for your community's development. Diversifying the economy so that in times of recession, there would not be such a negative hit and blow, and how to do that. Providing infrastructure, both broadband and transportation, so roads, trains, airports, how would we do that? And improving the links between communities and government and the process of obtaining government assistance. Also providing support to new businesses and small growing enterprises. Now, not all of those required academic comments or new insights. Some of those were old problems, but others were thorny and needed some new information. And these, the second list, is a list of the ones that you wanted us to focus on in the KIS project, and we've been doing so. So how are we in Eastern Ontario to create a comparative advantage? How do we actually ensure that when people think about the region, they think in terms that are bright, that this is the place to be? I was privileged to be part of, and I know some of you in the audience, I see Sandra, for instance, were part of these discussions also a couple of weeks ago, where we gathered as a region to discuss our regional strategy. You know, what could we brand ourselves as, or how could we better present ourselves in order to convey the excitement of this region and to encourage people to invest here? And there were things like using acronyms such as, and I hope I'm not spilling the beans prematurely, but you heard it here first, WAN, ON for Ontario, and E for East, one. You know, could we work as one? Could this be the place to be? And then another word that was used that really seemed to convey excitement was EO for Eastern Ontario, endless opportunities. Wow. So more information about how to develop regional strategies, more information about best practices in various economic development situations and challenges, how to promote tourism, how to retain our youth, how to educate our youth. I'm going to ask Assistant Director Jeff Dixon to continue to describe some of the key elements of the KIS project.
Throughout the day today, you'll hear about many of the resources we've developed and made available through the KIS project, but I want to take a few minutes to give you a top-level overview of some of the stories we've heard and some of the resources we've had the privilege of developing. One of the tools we've developed are knowledge syntheses, and after finishing our last workshop, which was in Thousand Islands last fall, we came out with this final list of here are the region's economic development priorities and research priorities, and so we developed 18 knowledge syntheses so far. And each of these are 4 to 5 page summaries of the best research out there on these key issues that have been identified by the community. And we developed several new ones over the past year. In a few moments, you're going to hear about the synthesis we developed on rural transportation, and you've got a sample of that in your package. We've also developed new ones, including the one on the rural creative economy. That one developed quite a buzz on Twitter. Twitter was a Twitter about the rural creative economy in that report. We had economic developers across North America discussing that one, actually. And we have several new ones in development as well, one on social enterprise, one on community collaboration and building a cooperative government, which might be who knows if that will work, but hopefully our ideas will push your community one step closer to that. So we encourage you to access our website, easternontarionowledge.ca, to access all of those reports for free. The next initiative we developed was a number of success stories, and again, we've developed 18 of these. We went to local businesses throughout the region to say, how are small businesses competing in this economy, and how are they finding success in a rural context? You'll hear a couple stories today about successes, but just a few we haven't had time to profile in our 3 knowledge syntheses. One I really love is Wild Wing, which you may have heard of. It's a chain across Ontario now, but you may not know that Wild Wing began in Sunderland, Ontario. Many of you might say, where is that? It's a very small community. It's out up in the South Lake CFTC region, so closer to Lake Simcoe, the very kind of northwest part of Eastern Ontario. Wild Wing began as an idea. A local businessman saw a donut shop that had been empty for years, and he said, I want to open a chicken wing restaurant. Well, the bank laughed at him right out of their offices, but the CFTC there said, we'll give this guy $15,000 to start his business. 10 years later today, Wild Wing has over 60 locations across southern Ontario, and they're looking at national expansion, and they're well ahead of a big American competitor that's coming into the market. And so they've got an established business. They've done very well. And some of the things they've done to find that success, one, they have a unique product. When they opened, there weren't chicken wing restaurants in southern Ontario. And to grow from a mom and pop organization to a larger enterprise across Eastern Ontario and all of Southern Ontario, in fact, they've had a strong franchising system. And so our synthesis talks, or our success story case study talks a bit about that. And of course, they've looked beyond their product, and each restaurant has they work to build a consistent, friendly atmosphere so that they're not just selling a product, but they're selling an experience as well. Another great business from the same CFTC, actually, is Pefferlaw Peat Products. And Peter Preuss bought a old family-owned dirt and peat business about 13, 14 years ago, and he turned it into a large growing enterprise. Today, they're a major supplier to Canadian Tire, and so they have their products sold across Ontario through that distribution channel. And he did that by, first investing in equipment and then developing more efficient processes. And so they have very low overhead. They keep their manufacturing operation very lean so that they can keep costs down so that they can get into large suppliers like Canadian Tire. They have very professional packaging, which again helps them move beyond that mom and pop level. And they've done very well at their pricing. They offer a high quality product at a value price, not a discount price, but a good value price, which then has helped them grow their their sales quite a bit. And as a result of the work our students did with them, they've since hired a marketing and sales person to help continue to grow the business. So we've been very excited to see some of the work we've done pass on and continue to help grow that business. Another aspect of the project has been consulting with small businesses, and this morning you're going to hear from two of these businesses, both the students and the businesses that they worked with. But it's been very exciting to work with these businesses. We have our last project starting in about 2 weeks' time. One project we're very excited about and don't have time to profile in greater detail today was working in Wolf Island, just in Marysville, right across the water from Kingston. You may have seen them recently. They were a top 5 competitor in the CBC Hockeyville competition. So they gained quite a national reputation as a community that loves hockey. Well, our students went there about 1.5 years ago and helped them develop a business plan to say, how could we take our outdoor hockey rink and turn it into a year-round facility? And so they helped them develop a business plan. How many volunteers would you need? How much staff time would it take from the community? What would be the investment in building it? What would be the ongoing operating costs? And then what potential revenue sources might you have? What could you expect to get from bringing tournaments to the community and so on? And so we hope that we played maybe a little part in helping Wolf Island get into top 5 in the Hockeyville competition. Another another project we did with a community, this was at a community level, it was with Hastings County, and we developed a feasibility study for a microbrewery cluster. And so Andrew Redden, the economic development officer there, he said, we think we have all the ingredients for beer here. How could we start processing some of those locally and start attracting some people who might open microbreweries and open several of them so that we could get a cluster building? And so our students, again, went in and started looking at how could you build this value-added opportunity into your agricultural sector. And so they did a financial analysis, again, of startup and operating costs. They looked at what's the capacity of your local hops and other ingredients that you can grow locally. What distribution channels might you have access to? And then again, what's the regulatory environment like? Very important when you're talking about a brewery. And so now the community is using that to market themselves to potential investors. We added a new aspect to the project this year, which was partnering with an MBA class to provide free operations management consulting to local businesses. And you'll hear from 2 of these projects this afternoon. But a couple others I'd love to profile. One is the Green Beaver, a fantastic business. A couple years ago, we developed a success story case study on them, which is available on our website. They are Canada's leading EcoCert cosmetic producer. They're developing fantastic green cosmetics, lotions, these types of products right in Hawkesbury. But they have some manufacturing issues in that they're not a high volume manufacturer. So what happens is they'll do a big batch of one product and then it sits in inventory and then they start producing another product. They're not manufacturing several products at the same time. So our MBA students went in and helped them analyze. The theory would say this isn't an efficient way to manufacture, but in a small-scale manufacturer, you don't have many options. So they gave them some strategies to make their operations more efficient while still working on this low-volume production context. Another great project was with Research Castings International. If you've been to the Royal Ontario Museum, you've seen their big dinosaur sculptures. You might not know they're built right in Trenton, Ontario. One of the world's leading manufacturers in museum products is right here in Eastern Ontario. Every product they make, however, is a custom product. So you can imagine it creates interesting issues when you're talking about budgeting and costing. So our students went in and helped them analyze how can they give more efficient job estimates when they're developing projects. All of our resources are available free at easternontarionowledge.ca. You have a bookmark with that address in your package today. So we encourage you to visit our website, easternontarionowledge.ca. We've been very glad to see over the course of the project we've had over 173,000 hits and over 18,500 reads of our blog, which is really exciting. Our top blog is approaching 3,000 reads just for one article. So it's incredible to see the reach that this project has had. On the blog, we've had a lot of great articles on many different topics, and they're all archived there for you to see. We've talked about the cheese industry, we've talked about the creative economy in a small urban or rural context, we've talked about tourism strategies, and many other great articles for your reference there. So we encourage you to visit our blog. We're also on Twitter at Rural Knowledge, and our Twitter site has grown fantastically, and we've even connected with speakers internationally. We're on Facebook, and today's conference proceedings will be posted on our YouTube page as well, and we have lots of great resources on YouTube. Maybe just one last thing to highlight is our KIS Showcase. This is our third one. We're excited. We're going to have 130 people or more over the course of the day. We thank you for coming, and we've been pleased to see great high-level support from the community and the university, and we're glad to have you today. I'm going to hand it back to Yolande.
Thanks very much, Jeff. And I know I'll thank Jeff at the end of the day, but without the Monieson Centre's support, and specifically without the support of Jeff Dixon, who coordinated the KIS project, this would not have been possible. So, okay, what we're doing now is just very quickly talking about some of the spin-offs, some of the growth or outreach as a result of the KIS project. So this one project, and my age is showing, the computer with the slides is way over there, and so bear with me as I squint. But you'll see in your slide package over 10 initiatives that have resulted from this one project. So I'm going to move the mic so that I can speak to it a little bit here for you. One project to note is the French translation of our findings. You'll be seeing most of the products that have been created, the knowledge syntheses, the documents in French. So that will increase the impact of this particular project. You'll be seeing a number of initiatives that have been spawned as a result in terms of their impact on your communities. So I can't go through them all, but perhaps I'll just go through a few. One of those is, as I mentioned, the Shirk Knowledge translation into French project, and I want to highlight that Rede, Ontario, and I do believe we have representatives, thank you for raising your hand here today. The joy of seeing new partnerships spawned, I mean, that's exciting for us. Another is with Northumberland. Do we have any Northumberland representatives here? Yes, thank you for being here. Well, it's been a real privilege to work with the Northumberland CFDC and the Northumberland Economic Development Agency. We have, with the Northumberland CFDC's funding, been able to assist Northumberland Hills Hospital. As many of you know, they have had to make very difficult choices in the last couple of years with reduced resources and a requirement for balanced budgeting. We were able to study decision making there and assist them. We were able to expand the impact of this project by taking the workshops to southwestern Ontario. So in addition to the 15 workshops in eastern Ontario, we held 8 workshops affecting about 23 communities in southwestern Ontario, and that was OMAFRA funded in partnership with Guelph. We, as you'll be hearing a lot about, and I hope you have taken a flyer, they're certainly available and I think are in your package, we'll be hosting a conference in June that we hope many of you will take the time to attend. One of the issues that kept coming up as we traveled across the region was the creative economy, but there were so many questions, there weren't a whole lot of answers. And so we have used this particular conference opportunity to showcase some of the best research, but also some of the best practice on the creative economy. It is out of this world. I have never seen anything so creative. There are 3 different venues. There are just activities that you have not had a chance to even dream of, much less experience, like World Cafes and Pecha Kucha events. This is definitely a must-see event. And I would like to have Christine Duclos raise her hand. Christine is one of the organizers of this event. And if you have questions, please see Christine or myself. Some of you have participated in our Monieson Ideas seminars. And again, if you have attended any of our luncheon seminars, could you raise your hand, please? Thank you so much. Look at that. That's wonderful. We've got 2 more that we'd like to bring to your attention. This particular series was spawned out of our desire to increase our collaboration with the community. So these luncheon seminars, which are free and which involve lunch, provide opportunities for community members and academics to get together to discuss topics of importance. So the 2 coming up in April and May look at social leadership and also the importance of policy and how research can influence and should influence policy. Come if you can. Let's look forward. We have about 5 minutes in which to do that. We've spent a lot of time looking at what KIS has achieved or tried to achieve. We're not going to end this initiative today. We have, as a centre, been determined to find new ways to contribute to Eastern Ontario. So there are 3 new partnerships and projects that we want to discuss briefly. The first of these you'll be hearing more fully about in the weeks to come. It's a 3-year initiative, and it will involve over $238,000. And there are individuals in this room who have committed funds, partners committing funds to expand this amount from our funder. The objective of this is to spawn research that is a direct result of what you told us in our community consultations. Research that will feed your communities. This project I can't give a whole lot of detail about because it's not been officially announced, although it has been approved. I would say simply that Kelly Packlin and Jana Raver, please just raise your hands, are 2 of the researchers. Chen is also a researcher, and there are others that you will be hearing about through the day who are involved in this initiative. Again, just because of time, I'll have to be careful, but some of the projects involve, for instance, undertaking a social analysis of agricultural innovation systems, using rural broadband deployment, looking at new ventures, corporate cultures, and their creative practices, looking at the role of non-governmental organizations in facilitating labor market integration, developing business case templates to improve rural transportation. These are very practical and yet academically sound projects. We'll be identifying emergent, innovative initiatives for sustainability, including ones that focus on the green economy. We'll be examining innovation in this region. We will be looking at rural Ontario communities, comparing them with other settings in North America, identifying lessons to be learned, especially with respect to the creative economy. This you'll be hearing a lot more about. We're engaging with you for another 3 years in projects. Another project that I know many of you have already heard about is the Rural Broadband Project. We have been funded by the Ministry of Government Services to provide a methodology to assess the impact of broadband as it's deployed in Eastern Ontario. And Leslie Benecki, I saw Leslie, can you raise your hand at the very back, is the coordinator of this project. She's the lead. And you will be hearing about us, and we hope that you will join us as we come to your community to ask you what you expect from broadband and what it is that we should hold broadband deployers accountable for. So there are a number of initiatives. I'm just out of time, so I'll keep it very, very brief. But the key thing is to assess the value proposition of broadband and to involve you in determining what's most important when broadband is deployed by the Eastern Ontario Regional Network in your region, and what it is that we should be measuring the Eastern Ontario Regional Network by. So you will see that there are a couple of meetings planned, one in Kemptville on April 29th, another in the Greater Peterborough area on May 11th, and one here in Kingston on May 13th. Please be involved. Your views count. The final project that I'll discuss very briefly is a project funded by the Rural Secretariat, and it begins now and it will go till March of 2013. It will evaluate the impact of the mobilization of academic knowledge in your communities. To what extent have all of these consultations, have all of these knowledge products really changed anything? And we're looking to see through partner interviews and various consultations, your views. So there will be workshops, they'll be beginning in fall 2011, this fall, and you'll see that the communities that we visited as part of this KIS project, we hope to visit again. If you'll open your doors to us, we will come back. And if there are other communities that we have not yet visited that you would welcome us at, let us know, and we will see your views on the value of academic research and teaching and student projects and other kinds of engagement in your region. Well, I must stop. We have one project finishing today. We have 3 projects being launched. We have an ongoing commitment to Eastern Ontario, to you, and you will be hearing more about this in the weeks ahead. So stay tuned. Let us know, most importantly, how to involve you and meet your needs. And please know the final message, the critical message, is that you matter to us at Queen's School of Business and the Monieson Centre and this university and all the universities and colleges represented in this room. And I see, for instance, some of our partner colleges. If you are affiliated with a university or college, please raise your hand. Thank you for coming, and we want to let you know that each one of you here, our partners, our communities, you matter. Thank you.